Let me ask you a question. If you weren't there to tell your child what to do, would they know how to think through a difficult decision? Or would they immediately wait for someone else to tell them the answer? Because one of the greatest gifts you can give a child isn't teaching them what to think. It's teaching them how to think. The world they will grow up in is changing faster than ever. There will always be new opinions, new trends, new voices telling them what's right. If they never learn to think for themselves, they'll spend their lives following the crowd instead of making wise decisions for themselves. Today, I'll share 3 powerful ways to help your child become an independent thinker. And the final one is what separates children who simply repeat information from those who truly understand it. 1. Ask questions more often than you give answers. When children ask questions, our instinct is to answer them immediately. Why did that happen? What should I do? Which one is better? But every answer you give is one less opportunity for your child to practice thinking. Instead of rushing to solve every problem, try asking questions back. What do you think? What makes you say that? What options can you see? What might happen if you chose that? At first, they may struggle. That's okay. Thinking is a skill. And like every skill, it becomes stronger with practice. Over time, your child begins realizing, I don't always need someone else's answer. I can think this through. And that's the beginning of independent thinking. But asking good questions is only the beginning. Because if children never get the chance to make decisions for themselves, they can never learn to trust their own judgment. 2. Don't make every decision for them. Sometimes, without realizing it, parents make every decision. What their child wears, what hobbies they pursue, which friends they spend time with, how every problem should be solved. Of course, young children need guidance. But as they grow, they also need opportunities to choose. Not because they'll always choose correctly, but because making decisions is how judgment develops. Start with small choices. Let them decide how to organize their homework, which book to read, how to spend part of their allowance, or how to solve a disagreement before stepping in. Some choices won't work out. That's not failure. That's education. Children who never make decisions often struggle to trust themselves later in life, because they've never had the chance to build that muscle. Now here's the final lesson. And in many ways, it's the most important of all. 3. Teach them to think beyond the first answer. Most people stop thinking the moment they find an answer. Independent thinkers ask another question. They understand that the first answer isn't always the best answer. What if I'm wrong? What haven't I considered? Is there another way to see this? Imagine your child comes home upset because a friend ignored them. Their first thought might be, they're being mean. Instead of agreeing immediately, ask, can you think of another reason that might have happened? Maybe the friend was having a bad day. Maybe they didn't notice. Maybe there was a misunderstanding. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means teaching your child not to jump to conclusions. Independent thinkers don't accept the first explanation they hear. They stay curious. They consider different perspectives. And they make decisions based on understanding, not assumptions. That's a skill they'll use for the rest of their lives. One day, your child will face choices you won't be there to help them make. Friends will pressure them. Social media will influence them. People will tell them what they should believe, how they should live, and who they should become. If you've taught them how to think instead of simply what to think, they'll have something far more valuable than obedience. They'll have the wisdom to think clearly and the courage to act on what they know is right. Because the goal isn't to raise a child who always follows instructions. It's to raise a child who can make wise decisions, even when no one is there to guide them. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one decision you wish someone had taught you how to think through when you were younger? Here's your next step. Click the video on your screen to learn how to raise a child who handles failure without giving up. Because independent thinking is tested most when life doesn't go as planned. I'll see you there.